You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week. Featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live This Week, Derrial Christon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live This Week. I'm your host, Derrial Christon, and we are having a good time in here today. Already. Here joining me is Courtney Stewart.
What's up?
Ashida Onrae.
What's up?
Ashford Thomas.
What's good, people? What's good?
And our very special guest today, she is star of Botched on E. Kimber James is joining us today. What's up?
Welcome.
Welcome to the party. You didn't know what you were getting into coming on this.
Bounce back.
I'm very comfortable.
I love that. That's
Oh my
how
God.
we like to make all of our guests feel. So thank you.
Very
It
comfortable.
was a very nice welcome.
Good stuff.
That's right. Well, we have a lot of topics we want to discuss today, including football player Michael Sam's gets a new football team. CeeLo Green's The Good Life series is canceled off of TBS because of controversial rape comments.
Rap.
And new outlets are suing to get Michael Brown's juvenile records.
Interesting.
But first, we're going to talk about last week's, actually 2 weeks ago, buzzer-meter question, which was, should Obama be more vocal about Ferguson? You guys voted, and here's what you said. 17% of you said no, and 83% of you said yes.
People.
That's a huge difference.
That's a huge, I didn't expect that actually. 83% think he should say more.
Yeah.
He sent the Attorney General.
Right,
He's
he's
the
doing
President
what
of the
he can
United
do.
States. Y'all.
He's got other things to do.
Brother can't win. Do y'all?
It shouldn't be on one issue that long.
Exactly.
It's one case.
It's one
Yes,
case.
it's one case, and we have Syria exploding. We got
Yeah.
Iran exploding.
Yeah.
We got North Korea exploding. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And not to mention that, each state has their own rules.
Yes.
Right.
True.
So he can't do too much
That's
just to
true.
let people know,
Ferguson.
There we go.
Let me speak on Ferguson. I think the people in Ferguson are like, we don't know anybody in Syria. We don't know them folks over there. So they're like, if you don't take care of home, and this is an ongoing factor. I don't
Right.
know. It's been a lot of names that have come out of young black men being killed since Mike Brown.
Right.
So therefore, not only just in Ferguson, not just this case, but it needs to be addressed that there is a problem.
Well, it is being addressed. They're
Yeah.
investigating it. There's a federal investigation
Absolutely.
into it right now. So I think he did what he was supposed to do, and to expect him to actually go to Ferguson and like give a speech like that, he's
I don't think it's
already going to
needed.
be backed in a corner to begin with because he's black and he's speaking up for black. Like
Yeah.
that's just not a good idea.
I agree.
I think
And
you
listen.
can't get personal
Yeah.
Right.
in that position.
And Reverend Al Sharpton's already there, so we don't need both
We
of them
don't
there.
need Obama. We got Al Sharpton, y'all.
Like, Reverend's already covering some things there. Obama can just stay in Washington.
We got Jesus there. We don't
got
need nothing
Jesus.
else.
All right. So the buzzer meter question for today is: was it a mistake for St. Louis Rams to get rid of Michael Sam's? You guys vote. We'll read those results on next week's show. But first up, we are going to start off with some trending topics. DJ Jesse J is not here today.
Yeah, he's lounging up in
He's
Massachusetts
in Massachusetts,
somewhere.
enjoying his family somewhere.
East Coast.
East Coast. But it is his birthday, so we want to give him a birthday shout out today.
Happy birthday.
What, you 48? You done 48?
Yeah.
Like 48.
You can take that on with him when he comes back.
AARP is coming. I'm
But Ashida is going to deliver some great trending topics for us today.
All right. So, speaking of men.
Man.
in the building.
I'm afraid to know. This is
Speaking of
I'm sorry,
men.
that was a side comment before we got on air, right?
right.
My bad. I
We
was
should bring it
still
back around to that, but go ahead.
I know. We gonna
Vivica
talk
might be
about-
mad at you
They
for
were
saying that.
talking about porn.
we were talking about porn, but that's okay. Speaking of porn, we're going to talk about Chocolate City. That Vivica A. Fox has.
I'm sorry, we talked about this like 2 weeks ago.
Someone's excited.
We talked
for the
about The
wedding.
Boys a couple weeks ago.
That has just been casted into this amazing movie, and the film is basically really about a story of a guy becoming an erotic dancer. And Vivica A. Fox, which I'm sure this is in her element, of being cast amongst these amazing men. I want to, name the names of these amazing men. We got Jean-Claude Lamar. We got D. Ray Davis, Carmen Electra, Darren Dwight Henson, Robert Richard, and Genuine. Where's Genuine been lately?
Genuine, I ain't seen Genuine since
Genuine's
89.
getting into the acting.
Record with Tyrese and
Tyson Beckford, who said he would do full frontal.
okay, so
No hair though.
wait, you know what? This is a good moment, right? This is a good moment. So we have Kimber here, and we've been talking before the show started. We talked about should a man be shaven? You know what women like in the private area to look like. Now, Kimber, give your 2 cents on what you said that you felt a man should.
I
look
like bald
Bald.
or well groomed, but it
Okay.
can't be a buzz cut because then there's sharp edges and it's gonna hurt you.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't
I did
wanna-
not.
But I
know that.
bet whatever Tyson has
It's
is
perfect.
It'll work.
There's some
Except for the
Tyson
rules,
fans in
right?
there. Right.
But hold on. You and your man can't be going to get a Brazilian together. Right?
She said
right?
she doesn't-
Wait,
she
You
wait,
know
doesn't
wait,
care.
what?
wait.
You know what?
If he
People
needs
bond
it-
over weird things.
Yeah.
That's a really good answer.
That's a good answer.
So
Hold
if
hands,
that's what
baby.
does
Hold
it for
hands
you,
while
do it.
He'll probably want to hold your hand during it.
Well,
cry
I'm
when
sure
he
there will
get
be a
caught.
lot of shaved men in this movie.
Don't shave, no, because white men it wouldn't be so bad, but the black brothers, if you shave, it'll be a little bit coarser. So
No.
Really?
don't shave. Don't shave.
You know what? Just go on.
You know,
and
I'm
get the-
trying to
just get
think of the
layer.
black men I've been with, what they have.
What did
Look,
he
See,
do?
it's like-
we had the moment of silence.
We're all like,
right. Let me get my pen real
I
quick.
don't remember it being hairy, or else I would have been like, oh no.
Well, camera, you always gotta go bald. You
Right.
You gotta go. First of all,
Because men tend to be thick. They'll,
it'll be a bushel down there.
Yeah,
I
like
just
that.
found it
And
interesting that-
hair holds odor.
it does.
Oh,
So you
but you
need
put
to
a
be-
little deodorant, a little,
No, we don't
It's
want
still
products
both.
down there because we don't want that in us. So
Yes.
that's not okay.
Wait a minute. the
Just
man
moisturize and be done with it.
Moisturize.
Or get right out the
wash
shower. You like
thoroughly.
to right out the shower.
You gotta go
sex.
right out the shower. That's why I
the
like
best.
Right out the shower.
That's
Right out the
ideal.
Yes. And first of all, with this movie, I'm just want to say I'm upset about that. I think my
Which part?
Why are you upset about
because
it?
you know what, I believe my audition tape
Oh, it
was
didn't make
lost
it.
in the
Oh.
mail, and because I sent.
You
my
could just show
stuff.
up as an extra.
I did.
Just show up as an extra.
I'm rolling
I
on
love
it
that
right
he's
there.
pumping over there in his chair.
Ooh, that's
So-
hilarious.
Well, maybe there'll be a part 2, and you'll have an opportunity to be.
There you
in
go.
part 2.
Exactly.
She'll come up.
But now I got the note now. Shaving. Gotcha.
Yes,
All right, shave.
shaving.
So
No,
back-
you have to get waxed. You black.
Oh.
and moisturize.
You don't
We
and
gotta
moisturize.
All right.
Y'all know y'all got
So
them
sorry,
curls.
We
They'll.
detoured a little
Yeah.
bit.
No, it's all
Go
good because
back.
you know I love a detour.
Oh, I know you do. This is where we're
conversation
going
is
today
terrible.
with this
Oh
conversation.
God,
I don't know who
was
these
thinking
people
of another
are.
detour.
If you are 18 and under, do not listen to the show
Right
today.
now. Delete.
Turn it off, y'all. Just give it to your mama.
Give it to your mama.
Give it to your
Not
mama.
like a detour.
Alrighty.
Okay, all right,
Might
I'm
pray
back.
tonight.
I'm back. I'm
All right,
back.
pray tonight.
Yeah.
Pray for the D.
So let's go into the next topic. One of my favorite topics, which is marriage and wedding and love and bliss and happiness. Gabrielle Union got married to
sorry.
Dwayne Wade,
Parched.
and she looks stunningly beautiful.
When does she
She
not?
always
And
is, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When does
looks
she not?
She always look great.
amazing. And
She doesn't age.
She doesn't.
No,
she's
and I'm so
42
excited
now,
for
and
them.
that she doesn't look a day
Really?
over
Forever
25.
fine.
Yeah.
Forever
yeah.
fine.
Guess so.
Forever fine.
And as you guys may know, they had a rough,
Yo.
journey.
I
to
don't
the
know if this
altar.
should have went down, by the way.
What do y'all ladies
It's still-
think?
it's still questionable.
The brothers paid.
Yeah.
It just comes out that he has a baby.
While
with
y'all
another
were
one- while y'all was so-called together.
together, separated, but not together.
Yeah, he went to the store. That's what it was.
And now there's a baby.
baby. Dang, Dwayne. What do y'all do? Would you do it? Think about the bank account.
So you throwing the messages in
But wait a
already. You gotta let
minute,
them answer.
But wait
Go
a minute.
back.
Now here's the thing. She already has her bank account, so she doesn't have to get married.
not
Now,
about the
she's
bank
You know
account.
what? If you want more, it doesn't matter.
Keep it
How much
100.
you
I
have.
love you. I love you.
I want more.
Right.
And-
Who
and-
cares? I got some. I'll take more.
And she's got
That's
bank, but
true.
she doesn't
I'll
have
always-
his bank.
True
You know,
that.
she
You know
was
what I
on
mean?
Arsenio Hall saying that she's the one that talked about and initiated the conversation for a prenup.
Well, that's a good look for him.
Yeah, but
then.
you
For
can
him
have
to
a
be like,
prenup.
yeah, I'm gonna
She's
keep her
saying I have
around.
my own
Well,
money. I don't want his own. I don't want
She
his
could have
money.
just did that because of the drama that he had
That's
with his
what I'm
other
saying.
wife
Yeah.
and all that, and she wanted to be like, you know what,
Right.
babe, I'll
I'm
sign a
different.
That's-
prenup.
And
I'm different. I
I'm
want you to
different.
marry me.
That's
There's
what I
two
think.
ways.
Yeah, I'm
There's two
different.
good
We
things
heard
about
that
a
before.
prenup. If there's you pre-negotiating things when they're on a good term and level.
Yeah.
So
Right.
maybe you're getting $10 million because he feels nicer about you than 2
When
years
you're trying
from
to
now
get a
when he's going to
divorce.
hate you and want
Yeah.
rid of you
Very
and not
true.
give you nothing.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it's kind of
Pre-planning.
Yep.
It
Preach
could
on,
still be
Kimber.
in her
Preach
It's a
on.
power
favor.
move. It's a power move, D.
Well, I would like to say that I hope and pray
I hope.
that they stay happy and married.
I
I'm
hope so,
rooting
too.
for. I'm rooting for
I'm
us.
rooting. I will not
I'm
root against-
Rooting. I'm rooting for us.
I
Y'all-
wouldn't root
y'all
against
know y'all
the-
skipped my
the
question.
chocolate.
What
I'm not scared
would
of
y'all
it.
do? What would
Hell
y'all
no. Hell no.
You
You
wouldn't
had
do
a
it?
baby while we were together? No, we're not getting married.
Really?
We're not
Even with
getting
all that
married.
back.
100 mil.
We're not getting married. Not if I mean, I might be thinking a little different if I'm broke as hell, but she has a check, she got a job. I would be like, I don't know. I don't know that I would want to get married. I don't know how you get over that hump.
The acting game is tough. You can be hot one
I
second.
mean, that's true, but she had hopefully saved her money and she's fine. I don't know how you get over the hump. It's
Kimber,
one
what-
thing cheating,
I-
but a baby.
I think that every relationship, you have things that are allowed and things that aren't. For whatever reason, different things come into play. So,
If it works for them.
yeah.
Well,
I'm
here's the
happy.
thing. It could go both ways because I'm with Courtney. I would not because you cheated. However, she said that their breakup was partially her fault
Yeah.
because she wanted to be the woman that worked a lot, no breaks.
And she wasn't spending the time
and
with
she
him.
wasn't spending the time with him, so they took a break maybe, or he cheated and a baby came out of it. So if you look back in yourself and say, hey, you know what, I was partly at fault for this, we can get over this, we can work it out, I can change, you can change, and then
That's nice. My issue isn't with the cheating. My issue is not with
It's
the
the
cheating.
baby?
It's the baby. Because it doesn't matter. I can get over you cheating, but
Yeah.
you got a baby
Reminded.
now, which means a constant reminder, but also a constant situation that you're gonna have to deal with another
That's
woman,
true.
another baby, whatever her needs and whatever's gonna come up. Like that just adds another whole element that
or you can just get your lawyers involved and say, here it is, boom, do
it's
your
never
thing.
that clean.
I know.
It is never that clean. And if you
That's
live in
true.
the house together, he has 2 sons and he's
Yeah.
raising a
Yeah.
nephew.
A nephew.
You already have 3 kids. Now you have another woman, and his ex-wife is crazy as hell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
already
She
have
was
that
tripping,
element,
yeah.
and granted, money can make certain things go away a little bit better, but that is a constant for the next 20 years. Is
Yeah.
whoever this woman is, whatever she decides to do, whenever she decides to get upset, like whatever it is. Like,
mean, that's a good point. That's a good
That's
point.
just
Yeah,
the
I
energy
totally
that
get
going
that.
into a
That's a good
marriage.
point.
I like how, everyone was so logical, like this was my fault and all that stuff when you got $100,000. Now, if this brother's making $13,000 a year.
Yeah, it would be the same
No.
conversation.
Well, that's what I
Come on
said.
now.
Certain things in different
She did say that.
That was
relationships
my
are
fault.
allowed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You gotta
Nah.
make sure.
If the guy's working at McDonald's, he's not going to have so much allowances if he's a millionaire.
Exactly.
Then turn your head to certain things.
Exactly.
What
Because if
about
he's
love?
working at McDonald's and now he got child
It's
support
reality.
with another woman,
Yeah, that's-
you ain't
that's
got
not a
nothing.
good look.
Your rent's
That's
not
not a good
paid.
look.
You
Have
can't
your
get no
own
shoes.
already.
Like
Right.
it's all
He
bad.
picking up extra shifts,
And
though. Come on now.
Let's keep it real, though.
Extra shit
I'm
for
sure there were a
McDonald's.
lot of extra rings and diamonds and bracelets that were bought also to get that political statement that was made to the public side too. I'm
yes.
sure there were a lot of gifts on the side, like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So sure, she doesn't want anyone to. They're already saying negative things. They were saying negative things about the relationship, so of course she's going to come back with this political answer anyway. I'm always a skeptic with those type of things anyway. It's always
And
pre-planned.
It was word that she was the other woman anyway, so maybe she fine with it.
True.
Oh.
That
That
was
is
the
true.
rumor on the
What
street.
goes around
That's
comes
true.
around.
And she
I did
was
hear
the
that.
other woman.
Well, that was the Tori Spelling situation, right?
That was the Tori spelling. Yeah.
These women up snatching some man up.
I mean,
Snatching some.
Yeah.
It's hard out here.
snatch him up.
All right, well,
Good luck, guys.
Good
Good
luck.
luck. Black love.
Good luck.
Black love.
Stay positive, D.
We just shot it all down.
I was like, well, I didn't know all that. I'm rooting for you, Gabby. I'm rooting for you.
No,
You
we
look
love
real
Gabby.
pretty. You'll keep that picture forever.
I'm
So
rooting for
beautiful.
you
Look at
guys.
that.
We love Gabby.
I do. I'm rooting for them. Seriously.
Yes,
Okay, so on to
absolutely.
the next topic. Football player Michael Sam gets a new team. What do we think about this?
Well, he's going to Dallas now, right?
Yes.
So
I'm sorry, I'm talking like, because I already know the story. Other people don't
What
know
do
the
we
story.
think about this?
Yeah, so he's going to Dallas. You know, he was cut by the Rams, and now he's going to Dallas. Now, at first, I thought when he was cut by the Rams, I was like, why was he cut? Because he's really good.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really good in what he plays, and he's very focused. He's very determined. But they said it's best for the team, you know. And I know how they always can, you know, make things sound politically correct.
Right.
Yes.
And then I was reading reports that no other team wanted to pick him up at all. And then all of a sudden, Dallas comes out the clear blue and says, "Hey, we're going to sign him to the practice squad."
Yeah.
So he's on the team, but he's not playing. He's part of the practice squad, which I'm hoping, you know, that he goes from the practice squad to the bench, from the bench to on the field.
Yeah.
Because I am rooting for him. What do you guys
I mean,
think?
listen, you know, I think with Michael Sam's, I applaud the brother for being as open as he is with his sexuality. So that's the first thing. I just don't want that to be a distraction for this next team. But I feel like with the Rams that was a major part of obviously just the eye was on him so much even more because of his sexuality and because
Right.
he was, you know, openly gay. And I just, at the end of the day, it's no one's business. So go play football, kick ass, and just keep it moving, you know. And I hope that it seems like Dallas, right. It seems like Dallas is y'all are silly. It seems like Dallas is
my
kind
mind
of
out the
like,
gutter.
you know, letting him kind
Right.
of be that person, you know, because I know that they said even when he was with the Rams, he had a solid showing the entire time.
Yeah.
But they did say this. Some people are saying that he's not as fast as a defense end, so he's not the fastest defense end. So that's what they were kind of like quoting and saying. Then they're also saying that the Rams have such a strong roster already.
they're stacked.
So
they
they're
didn't
stacked,
need
and they
him.
did get rid of a couple other good players, not just Michael. So
So then why bring him on in the first place if they were already
See
good
who's
to
the
go?
best.
I mean, you know, see who
who's the
can
best. That's how
play
you
it
do
out.
it.
And also, one thing I really saw, I forgot what player commented, but he went online and said he was blaming ESPN because the media kept bringing attention to it. Like if you looked on ESPN, you saw more of him kissing his boyfriend
Yeah.
than you saw his highlights.
Right.
He said everyone else is over it
Right.
except ESPN. You know,
Right.
and I only say ESPN because, you know, that's the only news network or, you know, big part of it.
Nice
and all that
cover
stuff.
up just in
Right.
case you want to get hired. there one
Exactly.
day.
I love you. That's Jay Thomas.
Good cover
Email
up.
me. But they were ready to leave it alone. I think that was really the distraction. Like he's a solid player, and for only one team to pick him up, that's ridiculous. He's definitely could be anywhere.
And then also too, OWN was a big distraction as well
Yeah.
because they wanted to do
The reality show.
reality show,
Yeah.
follow him and everything.
Yep.
So that was a huge distraction as well. So yeah,
Yeah, but you know, some stuff is good. Like Johnny Football is actually got commercials, and he's not even starting quarterback. So
Right.
like, it's a lot of different players and distractions that they don't want in the football arena if you're not performing. So
Exactly.
Well, speaking of football, I want to do a side story here. Pam is no longer going to be on the sidelines. What's
Yes.
her?
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
And I just found out about this.
Yeah.
Girl, you wasn't watching us a month ago?
No.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
I literally just read it
Conversation.
on Yahoo yesterday.
So they replaced her with the blonde chick.
Yeah. So I just wanted to shout out to her. I think it was because her hair wasn't cute.
Yes. You can't be getting mocked.
Leave sports Oprah alone.
I was just talking. I was like, oh, do you think it was because of her hair? Because she got so much heat.
Yo.
No.
I think it was a
Leave her
football hitting the
alone.
head. Yeah,
I love her. I'm gonna miss her on the sidelines.
I
But
I'm
that's
gonna
just
miss her on the
a-
sidelines
I
too.
don't know.
Okay, but
Damn.
All right, so that's all you have for us for trending topics
yes,
this
I
week.
did. Was
That's
All
that
right, Courtney, we'd like to move on to some gossip and rumors.
Well, it ain't really gossip and it ain't really a rumor. It's kind of the truth. CeeLo was in the news this week, and for not good things, guys. So last week, he pled no contest to the rape charges against him.
It's a wrap.
Basically, like, he allegedly roofied a chick, and she woke up naked in his bed and was like, oh. And so they had to go to court and figure it out, and he pled no contest, which is not an admission of guilt. He was given 3 years probation, 360 hours of community service, and he has to attend 52 AA/narcotics anonymous meetings. He was obviously upset, apparently, by this situation. So on Sunday,
I would think
Just a
so.
little bit.
Exactly.
he was a little upset. On Sunday, he took to his Twitter and he just sort of went on a few rants, and he said a few things that were not very good.
That brother was mad.
He was real mad. First thing he said
stupid
was,
mad.
quote, "People who have really been raped remember in
Wow.
capital letters. He also went on to tell us, this dude, really? Come on, CeeLo. He went on to say, let's see. If I tried but did not succeed, but the person said I did, then what really happened? I don't know what
That's
that's
another
supposed to
million
be.
off. Take that million.
And then he goes, when someone breaks into your home, there's broken glass. Where is your plausible proof anyone was raped?
I didn't get that one, but okay.
So, in all of that, TBS on Tuesday decided to cancel his show.
As they should.
They decided to cancel his show called The Good Life. It was Goody Mob was back together. It was supposed to be doing an album for the first time in 14 years.
14 years,
It
yeah.
aired its first season at the end of June through the summer,
Yeah,
and
6 weeks.
So they didn't really cancel it. I mean, it wasn't picked up for a second season.
Yeah.
Word on the street is that TBS is saying that it was low ratings,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are saying that it was because of his craziness on Twitter. And since all the Twitter nonsense and then the show got canceled, he went back to Twitter after he shut down his account. Tried to shut down his account and pretend like it wasn't his, but he went back and he gave an apology. And he said, quote, "Let me, for one, praise God for exoneration, fairness, and freedom.
Gotta thank the man.
Secondly, I sincerely apologize for my comments being taken so far out of context. I only intended on a healthy exchange to help heal those who love me from the pain that I had already caused them from this. Please forgive me, as it was your support that got me through this to begin with. I'd never condone the harm of any women. Thank you."
Yeah. And then he was also getting some heat from that anti-sexism group, the Ultraviolets, that they say put a petition out for him, and they said that they may have been a factor in the cancellation of his show as well.
Oh, it shut it down.
So, yeah.
Bottom line, I think that which is good that networks are just not taking any bullshit.
Not
like,
anymore.
look, just shut the hell
They're
up.
like, I'm not even going to
and
bother.
stop doing stupid stuff to mess up your money and your
Like,
career.
why?
I
Dude,
mean,
you got
come
accused of
on.
Yeah.
rape. I know you may be real mad if you feel like you're guilty or you're not guilty and everybody thinks you're guilty, and I get that you would be upset about that, but really, you're going to go on Twitter and just...
Right.
I mean, shut up.
It's
Kimber,
rape.
what do you think?
It doesn't make the case any better. I mean, he could be perfectly honest. He just looks like an asshole.
He just looks
Yeah,
like an
he
asshole.
does.
Exactly.
And he's got kids too. I think he has a daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
what
it's
made it so
like,
wild.
yeah, it's like, wow, you don't really want to be putting that energy
And
out there
how
for
do
your
you
daughter or
not
kids to
know
see.
you look like an asshole saying it?
Right.
Like, how do you
No,
really
I guess
not
when
have a
people are in
clue?
that like state of anger, they just
Yeah.
lose that one.
Or they feel they're untouchable.
Yeah.
I think that's really
That
what
I
it is.
don't
I think that's
like.
really what it is.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they got egos.
The ego.
I believe one of the early comments when this first came out was like, he was like, I have money. I don't need to try to date rape women and all that stuff. Now it's coming out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like something's going wrong. Somebody
But
must have said
obviously
no.
you do.
Yeah.
Well, now you can't
Maybe
go
you
back to
got
the
a
voice
lot of-
because
maybe-
Pharrell's on there. So
Pharrell's on
your,
rap.
your spot's taken by Pharrell now. So
And now they might not want you back.
right.
In like 2
Right,
years.
they don't
'cause
want
they
that
constantly
negative,
move it. They
and they
don't
don't want
wanna
that
add
negative energy.
That was
or
stupid,
should say that
CeeLo.
negative
sound
PR.
crazy.
And I believed in you.
Yeah. And
I was hoping for that Goody Mob album to be
exactly.
all
too. I
What
was
about
like-
Big Gip? That's what we want.
right. I want to see Big Gip. Right on the show.
So sad.
That's the problem.
Oh, well.
Bye.
In other news this week, we have Ebony magazine being sued for $5 million. It's
crazy.
That's a great
Why is
cover. I didn't
that?
see that.
They got it.
So, I don't know if you guys recall, but we did a story a few months ago about Kendrick Johnson, who was a high school student in Georgia, who was found dead in the gymnasium and thought to have just fallen into the mat and suffocated.
Real suspect, right?
It was real suspect. There's some rumor around the town and around the city that the truth is that there was actually these two guys that went to the school that were involved and got in a fight probably, and they are the ones that killed him.
Yeah.
But they got away with it because the father is an FBI agent and they've covered up all of the evidence. Like there's no, the cameras that are in the gymnasium aren't available. Like
Yeah.
there was all
It's
kind of
real
weird stuff
suspect.
going on, and it's still under investigation as far as I'm aware. But the parents of the two boys that are rumored to have been responsible for his death, Brian and Brandon Bell, they filed suit against Ebony and the writer Frederick Rosen, who basically wrote an article sort of laying out the conspiracy.
Right.
And he used different names. He didn't use the children's actual names, and he didn't use the family name or anything, but they said because it's obvious that it's their family based on the details in the true crime story, that he put them in harm's way, and they're being threatened over Twitter and Instagram, and their lives are in danger, and it's all horrible, and life is terrible for them. And he also quoted in his story that Kendrick was killed by blunt force trauma, which technically isn't in the police report right now. There was rumor that that's actually how he died, but there was all kind of problems with the body and the coroner report and all that, so it's not sure. But right now, on record, it's that he died of asphyxiation,
Yeah,
not
asphyxiation.
from blunt
Girl.
force trauma. So That's why they suing Ebony for $5 million.
Damn.
I don't know. I feel like he did do something to kind of protect who he was talking about. But at the same time, you have to put all the information in there that is there. You can't put totally one-sided and state where you got your facts.
Yeah.
But isn't there like something with,
So I can see
freedom of speech in that kind of the ruling of editorial, that realm of that protects you from.
I would imagine because he's not doing it as a
Someone
news
suing
report
you.
as this happened.
Right,
He was
it's
saying
just
that this is the conspiracy theory around what could have happened. So, but at the same time, if the kids are minors, and even though he didn't use their names, it's a small town. It's kind of, the dad's an FBI agent. It's like South Georgia. I think it's somewhere outside of Savannah. There ain't that many FBI agents like, running around. So I would imagine that he wasn't able to cover the identities enough. And because they are minors, if I was their mom and daddy,
yeah, but
and
it's
they were
already
now
out
in
there.
danger,
It's
it's true,
already
it's
out
already
there.
out there. But if
Yeah.
the level, because it's now national with an
Right.
Ebony magazine, it's it's national, so it's not just like the local town. Like there's people from outside, like we'll kill you and we'll come for you, and because people crazy. So
Because I'm pretty sure people knew within the community already.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that's
small
no
town
big-
communities, they know
they
everything.
know
yeah.
everything, and they probably know the truth.
But yeah.
Right.
But well,
Well, the
there
whole
you go.
thing is just suspect and just very suspicious,
It's
regardless.
sad.
So
Evidence was tampered with, and that's pretty much it. I remember seeing the videotape, and the videotape just glitches.
It just
it
stops.
glitches.
yes,
It's
it's
crazy.
like, what are you doing?
And then
Now,
the rest of it
FBI
like
guy-
disappeared. Like
Uh-huh.
one of the cameras just disappeared.
Just
the
goes
tape was
black.
just gone.
So somebody tampered with evidence, and that's the real person or the real name that needs to be out there, like who's responsible for tampering with this tape or whatever, and basically covering up a murder.
yeah,
It's unfortunate, but good luck, Ebony.
Well,
with your
Beyonce
$5
looks
million.
good.
I was
She
gonna
does
say,
look
that's
good.
a great
Look at
cover.
this.
Go, B.
that's a great cover.
Love
That's
it. That's exciting.
Love her.
All right. Speaking of hot chicks, we got Kim K and Blac Chyna in the news this
Oh,
week.
Lord.
Is Blac Chyna really a hot chick?
I mean, I don't really know. I don't even know where
I mean,
Blac Chyna came
that's
from.
what
And
So,
listen,
it's
I
like-
was behind her at Chipotle, and I was behind her booty, and yes, she's a hot chick.
Just 'cause you couldn't handle the booty.
Yes,
It was a
Because of the
problem.
yes.
booty.
I wanted to take my cup at Chipotle, my lemonade, and
What?
just
Is it like
place
that?
Oh, I mean, it's
magical.
It's they say Nicki Minaj. I got to give it to Blac Chyna.
Jay.
It was magical. It was
Interesting.
mesmerizing, actually.
Wow.
Mesmerizing.
For those of you out there who didn't know who the hell Blac Chyna was, like me, there you go. It's the girl with the big old booty. That
Wait,
makes
is she a
these
rapper?
women
Is she an
I mean,
artist? Is
she
she
was
an
like
actress?
dating Tigger or
Tigger.
something.
Yeah, they have a baby together, I believe.
I don't know.
And that's it?
And she's
She's
hanging
like a
out.
video.
She's friends
She's a
with
video
Kim
model.
K.
Video model.
They compare butts to each other in
Yes.
pictures on Instagram.
That's
Yeah.
why I know because
Yeah.
Kim K is
They
always
took,
with her in the pictures.
they're like, whose fake butt is bigger than the others? And let's put it on
Let's
Instagram.
put it on
Let's put it on
Instagram.
Instagram.
So they take belfies all the time, and
Belfies?
that's a butt selfie.
I like that. But
And
I'm
so
gonna text her, where you gonna
the
Belfie at?
reason there's a problem though with their belfies this week is because
hilarious.
in addition to the excitement about their booties, everybody's all amazed and enamored with their teeny little waists that go along with these extra large booties because generally, that's not really how it goes down. You got a big old behind, you probably got a little big stuff elsewhere. Anyway, but they've been
beautiful
doing
thing.
this little thing called waist training, which has become really, really popular online, especially like Instagram, everywhere. Like girls are getting real excited to buy these waist trainers, which are basically corsets, similar
It's
to the
been
ones
going on
worn
for
in the
hundreds of years.
hundreds of
Hundreds of
years.
years, yeah.
They're 19th century Victorian eras when they got really popular to change the shape of your body to make your waist really narrow and keep your hips and your boobs out.
Keep you thick.
The problem with that is that they are promoting this real strong, and obviously Kim Kardashian has millions and millions of followers, so people are worried that the little girls, teenagers are seeing this and wanting to do this, and it's not very healthy for you. Medical experts revealed that wearing the corset for too long, which can be anywhere from a few hours to 12 hours, can actually result in damaged skin and damaged internal organs. Basically, putting the corset too tight on the body can bruise your skin, and people that might pull it too tight can damage their liver, their spleens, and their kidneys can
But
be
that's
bruised.
like over a long period of time. People that waist train, they do it for years, 24/7. There's
Yeah.
one to sleep in. There's one to
Do
Have
walk
sex
around the
in
house
house
in. There's one to go to work in. They
Eat
have
some
one for
Cheerios in. Just
pretty
right.
much. And but the whole thing with Kim, though, that's not waist training. She'd rather say that than liposuction and a fake butt.
What?
See, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say.
I don't know China, but
I was gonna say I think it's liposuction
Yeah,
for
she
Kim.
got
It's
the
called
money.
lipo-
Wait, so, they're Armenian, right?
Yes.
Well, she's part
She's
of
a
it.
Part of me.
Yeah.
They're known to have big butts. So,
but let me tell
hers
you
is not
this.
naturally big.
Let me say, not
That's what she
saying that
said.
I'm a booty.
I have a fake
Hey,
butt.
you're a bootyologist.
This comes.
we
I
got a
have a
connoisseur.
fake butt.
She's got
This
a fake-
comes from experience.
Yes.
I know
Okay.
a fake butt when I see one. I know what's in there, what kind of implant or
Wait, you-
injections you have.
Oh, different
I
brands.
just want Kimber to like just
Names
stand
on.
and give us like a quick profile of it.
I know,
Just,
can we get
can we
that?
just get a little Kim Kardashian?
got her
pro-
cute.
Okay.
Oh,
Now let me ask you about your butt. So with your butt, what did you have injections or like did you take?
I have injections.
Okay.
Really, that's injections. That's
And is
not
it did
Over
you take
years.
fat from somewhere else or?
No, the silicone.
Okay. And what's the what's better? Which one is better than the other?
You know, I would go back and I would get an implant,
Really?
really.
but it's safer probably.
And how often do you have to get your butt
It's
redone?
permanent.
Oh, okay.
But you always have touch-ups. I mean,
Okay.
But the implant, remember that lady that had the implant and it flipped?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh,
that's
yeah.
what
she was on my episode.
Yeah,
She was on my
Yes,
episode.
that's
What
what
happened to her?
I,
She got like a
She
janky
had
type
butt-
one. Yeah.
she had butt injections and then she got an infection.
Oh,
And they had to take
yes.
everything out. So now she's got all this saggy skin.
Oh.
And she put implants in, but she did it too soon or something. And,
Oh.
Jesus.
Yeah, see that's
Well, that's a whole lot of
things
information.
we
and if
Yeah.
I was on Blac season 2, I think that's what I would do.
Really?
I would get liposuction on my waist, and I would get my injections taken out and put an implant.
you
but
can
I'm
get
not.
the injections
How do
taken
you
out.
get the injection
Reversed?
taken out?
Listen,
it would be
you can
hell.
do anything now.
It would be
right.
hell. But
Is it painful to get, like, when you get the injections? Like, are you good, like, right away? Is it like I can't sit down
no,
for
I mean
2
you
weeks?
can't sit for like a week.
What do you?
What do you
how
do? Like, how do you drive?
not-
You just lay up
Do you
in the
just
You
lay-
have
oh, you
someone
lay in the
driving
seat
you.
backwards?
Doggy style.
Well, you gotta wait a week.
I remember the first time I had it done. My friend did it too, and I woke up in the middle of the night. And she was waking me up. She was like, "You're laying on your side. You need to get back on your stomach." I mean, it's just
You don't want a lopsided booty. That's the last.
that's what you have to keep
That'd be a
fixing.
tragedy. Oh Jesus.
Wow.
She
But
rolled
would you
over.
recommend to have a natural booty implant so it doesn't look like you have a fake booty? Is there such thing?
I mean, I think if you're gonna do, it's like getting a breast implant. It's
Yeah.
like depends on the girl. Does she want to look like she's got fake boobs, or does she want to look like she has a natural look?
I think that all depends on how big the woman is and the curve into the
Everyone
booty. And
asks
you know
me
what
if
I'm saying?
mine's
Yeah.
fake all the time.
They do?
On the street, yeah.
Wow.
Is your butt real?
So you got Blac Chyna, we got Kim Kardashian, we got Nicki Minaj.
Oh, that's not real either.
What is, that's
That's
not
not
real.
real.
but
Maybe
Okay.
okay.
that wasn't
I mean-
real.
I think Nikki says hers isn't real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you knew none of hers was real because when she first started versus when she like blew
Yeah.
up,
Oh,
like
yeah.
she
It's like a totally
specifically like
different
became
body.
a blow
Yeah.
up doll.
Well,
Like,
Oh,
she
I mean,
was
it's
like,
like
30 pounds.
Yeah.
yeah.
In the right places.
so even
Yeah.
so, when they say that they're scared of children following Kim Kardashian with the corset, I mean, it's all over the place. It's not just Kim; it's everywhere.
Yeah,
You know,
but
so-
it's been there for hundreds of years. But again, I don't think that's. She's probably gonna rather say, "Yeah, I corset trained," than I've had liposuction and I
Yeah.
have a fake
Oh
butt.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's,
So
yeah,
she's
it's,
gonna
Yeah.
roll with
it's
that
a
for a
smarter move
while.
for her. To
Don't
do
get it
that.
twisted.
And you know it's funny that you say that because she did the show one time where they like examined or ultrasound her butt to see if she had an implant in there, and it was this whole I don't have an implant.
Well, I know
but
she
you
has
could have had
injections.
injections, and so she sort of squashed.
I'm gonna
the
get a
fake booty
slander
rumor.
lawsuit or something
You
in the
might.
mail. Oh my god.
Interesting.
Or she can already have had a butt and she just perfected it.
I'm sure she
Well,
had
everything
a
that we're
butt.
talking about today is allegedly.
allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
But I
Except
mean-
it is factual. My butt isn't real.
There you go.
That's factual.
That's factual.
Allegedly.
And I mean, just for the record, I don't know that much about butts, but I know about my butt and a few other people's butts. And all that butt that Kim got, and she ain't got no dimple
It's
and
suspect.
hanging. It's real suspect.
Oh,
Okay.
because it's so
Because
perfect.
there's so to have that. I mean, it's ass fat. Like it's
yeah.
I'm just,
If it jiggles,
hers
it's
is
fat.
the
tell you
same
something. Let me tell
shape
you
as
something.
mine,
Yeah.
and I know what I've done to
And it has
myself.
gotten
We don't
wide,
care as a
like,
man.
Exactly.
Really?
From a guy
care.
You don't
that
care?
You don't mind the
knows.
cottage cheese at all?
No, we're saying we don't care what kind of. Oh, I'm saying I don't care
If it's fake or real,
If
as
it's fake or
long as
real,
it's
as long as
there.
it looks good.
I don't think I've ever been with a fake booty.
That you know of.
Because I would think that it would move differently. You know what I'm saying? I'm
It
thinking,
depends on the butt.
Definitely. But coming from a man who knows a lot about booties, You know, it gets to a
Bootyologist.
certain size.
Bootyologist. I'm
That,
a
you know,
bootyologist.
Stretch marks happen.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially
And
when
that's a
you got
beautiful
that
thing.
much.
That is a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing.
Stretch
Women-
marks
Y'all
is a
like
beautiful
that?
thing.
Okay with that?
Yes.
Really?
Well, you would love
It's-
me then, because I've got him.
It shows growth. It shows
It
growth.
shows growth. Exactly. It's maturity.
No, we
Maturity
have no
of the
problem.
butane.
Exactly.
my
Nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
thing
I'm
that
gonna take
females-
my sip to that. One.
Yes, sir.
Sip to that.
Yes, sir.
The things we
Sip
females
to that.
worry about, and they're just like,
They don't even care.
As long as it looks
As
good
long as there
and you
and
got something,
it's got
we
a
don't
couple
care.
of
If you ain't
nipples
got
when I
nothing,
smack
it's
it.
like,
That's
all
the,
right.
now, if you got stretch marks, you ain't got no booty.
Right,
Now,
that's
we
the
need to-
yeah. Like we gotta have a conversation. Yeah, we gotta talk about this. We gotta figure this situation out. I need to save some ducats to buy you a booty.
Exactly. What happened? You
Well,
go with the
that's
stretch
such a
Okay,
good
so what
gesture, though.
But what
See?
if she...
And that means you really like her if you want to be with her.
That is
Pay to
true.
improve
No, but
her.
wait,
You're
but
right.
wait,
You're
but
right.
wait. What if she's good at other things?
I mean,
But she ain't got no booty?
But no
I'm
booty?
like-
You
I'm
mean
just-
like have breast instead of a booty? Is it because there are some
No,
men who
her
like breast?
mouth instead of her booty.
I mean, there's
Let
some
me tell you
times I'm gonna want
Let me tell you
to
something.
take her to a different direction.
That's when you become the side chick. That's real. Because the side chick is good at certain things, but not the full package. That's why she is a side chick. If he was in love with a side chick, he'd be with a side chick. Sad to say. Not saying I know anything about
Oh
that.
boy, y'all.
I'm just saying.
See what happens when you're not here, Jesse?
Right. All right. All right. Now that we have broken down the booty,
We ain't that booty.
do you have anything else for gossip and rumors or truth?
Booty breakdown.
Booty breakdown or booty breakdown segment? Do you have anything else?
Booty,
I
booty,
think we
booty.
good. I think we're good.
All right, I don't even really want to talk about my topic.
I know,
That's all serious.
How do we go from
How do I go
booty
from
to
that to,
like
Ferguson?
racism?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Racism. But all right. So before we move on to our hot topics, I want to remind everyone to go to iTunes and give us a rating and
hot.
comment. We love what you guys are saying. We have a variety of different shows. We have The Beat. We have Stand Up, Sit Down. We have Portraits, Phenomenal Woman. We have Fashion 411, and the list goes on and on. And we really want to know what you guys are saying about the shows. It helps us to improve and to give you great programming. So make sure you go to iTunes, look up Black Hollywood Live, give us a rating and comment. We love the 5s, but if you have a 1 or 2 or 3, let us know why, and we will figure out how to make that program better. So thank
Bring
you.
some bigger booty.
Bring some bigger booties, apparently.
Booty, booty.
All right,
one
on to a
brother.
more serious subject, the EUR Web Story Spotlight of the Week.
Our web story, Spotlight of the Week.
We kind of started talking about this at the beginning of the show. We were mentioning Ferguson and just some things that are going on there, and it was part of our Buzz Meter question from 2 weeks ago. Well, as the temperature of the city seems to be getting a little bit better, there has been new drama that's been added to the scenario there. Apparently, there have been 2 news outlets that are suing to get the juvenile records of Michael Brown. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch and a Northern California online journalist are trying to sue to find out some information about his alleged records, which the police have already said that he does not have any adult criminal record at all. But these outlets are looking to what they feel is to find out some dirt on him to help in aiding the case against, him and the police officer saying that he had justification for using the excessive force that he used. So the juvenile records are confidential in Missouri, but under state law, being charged with certain violent crimes removes those juvenile privacy protections. I think it's really crazy. The family attorney for the Browns has come on to say that they think it's really shameful. Do you think that the record should actually be shown or given out by any means to these outlets?
I mean, but why do they care? I mean, they lost her son. I just don't understand why it just breaks my heart. I just know the
We wanna
parent.
It's really deep.
Yeah, it's just so unnecessary.
They want to vilify the victim.
Yeah.
Vilify the victim.
And
They do, because they're working with nothing. Like they're trying to build up the case that the police officer had a broken eye socket, and that was a lie.
And then
all
they're
that.
saying those
Yeah.
pictures, there were a
The
bunch of
picture,
pictures
that
that were
wasn't
released,
him.
and they're saying that's not even him.
That's not
Yeah,
him.
they're saying
That's
it's
the
not
guy
even
that
him.
died. And that's so
Yeah.
that's so wild. Like
Yeah.
those people, these are the people that should be sued if people are being sued for Ebony of stating facts or
Right.
somewhat. But these people that should be sued, they're just trying to sway the jury because then they heard this is heard. But it's really sad how you have not a leg to stand on and you're just reaching for things just to I guess to
Well, here's my thing with it. No, whether the records are shown or not, what does it have to do with the fact that he was killed under excessive force and he was unarmed?
That's my whole
What does that
point.
have to do?
Right.
Even if he had, when he was 13 years old, stolen a Snickers from
it
a
has
convenience
nothing to do
store,
with
it
that
has
day.
nothing to do with that day and what happened to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
My personal opinion.
I agree.
And I feel like this is they're trying to have a defamation of his character.
Yep.
And he's gone now. He cannot defend himself. And I think it is just so disrespectful for these outlets to be going after this information when this kid was killed, no matter what, he was killed for no reason, unarmed.
Yeah.
So, Kimber, I know you had some things that you want to say about it too. What do you think about all this?
I mean, you can't go back in time.
Right.
It is what it is, and someone did lose their child.
Yeah.
And there should be some sensitivity, but again, it's like, what does that have anything to do with that day?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, everything is still kind of up in the air how the case is gonna,
I do think though, if like someone else were to have this case, those news outlets would probably still be going for the same thing.
Sure.
But when it's an absolute kind of not factor thing, it's like, why?
Yeah. Well, an article kind of following up on this in Salon.com recently stated that since the Michael Brown's case, there's a new sense of reality for the next generation, which is that America will never be the same post-Ferguson and that the new generation is not afraid to die in order to bring change. So we've talked about kind of the situation here with Ferguson and just how, the community has kind of all come together. There's been some violent things that have happened and some non-violent things that are happening. Now we feel like now the temperature of the situation there has kind of fizzled out a little bit. We've gotten Reverend Al Sharpton, as we were mentioning, and then Obama has made statements. So we're hoping that things kind of get justified in the way that they should. But this article brings up a really good point in the fact of, is there a change now in America? Do you think that we can ever go back to the way we really were because of just this continuous violence towards young black men being killed by police officers? And then, as we're just talking about, their efforts to try and mess up the character of the kid that's killed. We had it with Trayvon Martin as well. So will America ever go back to, or can the youth really go back to really a place where that they can move on from this?
I think we easily forget stuff in this country.
Yeah.
In an ideal universe, we would all be like, okay, this has happened again. We're not taking it anymore, and this movement is going to keep going forward. I don't think that's going to happen. Because I don't think there was any confusion before Michael Brown, before Trayvon Martin. We've known for years that this is happening. It's a problem. It is not okay that black men, for whatever reason, are a threat to the universe in this country. And as long as people want to continue to deny their prejudices, and I don't throw the word racist around because I don't necessarily think this guy that shot him was racist. I would assume that he has similar prejudice to everybody else.
Right.
There is media, there is entertainment, there is just life that communicates that somehow black men in this country are some kind of threat. No matter who they are, how rich they are, what neighborhood they are in, it does not matter. Somehow they are a threat, and therefore they are targets. And I don't think that that's new. I don't think it's new since slavery.
Right.
So the idea that suddenly this one death is, nothing to me indicates that there's any major change in ideology, in thinking, because there's still a massive, there's people raising money to support the guy who shot him. And whereas I don't have a problem with that because I believe in our justice system and I believe it's right that he should get a fair trial or whatever it is. I'm all for that. And he's a police officer. He probably doesn't have much money to begin with. I think he should have a fair trial. I believe in that. But there's nothing else that but those people are going on attacking the child, attacking the problems, like, oh, these guys, the idea that they released that tape of him pushing the guy in the convenience store, just to me is only further indication that nothing has changed, nothing is going to change anytime soon, and that, because we're not actually talking about what the issue is. Really.
We're not, I think the real problem is America doesn't really address all the isms that are in the country, sexism, racism, classism, and all that stuff. And not only every demographic experience isms, but certain demographics have a larger voice than others. And the young black male voice, because I've been in situations, I've had guns drawn on me, I've been in handcuffs as well. And the thing about, one wrong move, I'm gone, so therefore, like, when we hear certain demographics speak up, like the women's rights, they just sent an email about CeeLo.
Right.
And his career is a wrap.
Right.
All right. So you got everybody out here protesting. They got to bring out tanks just to be heard, and it just shows how small the voice is. And I think within the black community, a lot of people have frustration with Al Sharpton and Jesse Jack, because you've heard about that. People being frustrated, saying what they're doing is not that I think they have bad intentions by any means. It's just that people don't understand that they don't have as much power as we would like them to have. Yeah. When Jesse speaks and Al speaks, we wish that, things would change a lot quicker, but they don't have the power. No one really has the power within that demographic to make changes as in other demographics. And that's really the problem. So, being realistically, I don't know if things will change, because I keep hearing every year somebody be like, how could this happen in 2014? Same thing we said, how could this happen in 2013? How could it,
Because we want to pretend like it
didn't happen.
We went past it at some point, and I'm like, when did we get past it? Because everybody's like, it's not racism. We're past it. When did we get past it? When did we jump over that hurdle?
And the problem is really because it's not the reality for
them,
everyone. Even within the black community, it's some black people that just can't relate to that.
Don Lemon.
Yeah.
Don. Poor Don.
That dog gonna die.
He got pushed to Ferguson.
Darn it, Don.
But it's just a crazy thing, and I think that's really why people are looking at President Obama to come speak, because hey, our voice obviously isn't getting through, and like if you say it, we guarantee something's gonna change, and like it'd be weird if he said something and nothing changed.
He would say something and they would be pissed off.
Yeah, would be mad.
They would be like, see, he's a black president. He's looking out for the black people.
And that's the bad thing, because even these stars like John Legend was speaking out, Jesse from
Williams.
Yeah, Jesse Williams was speaking out.
From Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, and they were tweeting him like, hey, I'm not liking all you're saying. And that's horrible. Like, he's losing fans for being, and he tweets back, I'm not here to be ignorant.
Right.
And he's speaking the truth. It's like people want to live in this bubble. Hey, I like you, Jesse.
Yeah.
But don't go over there talking to everyone else. It's really weird. It's really
that
scary.
Sterling effect.
Yeah.
Well, I saw this article that did a comparison, and it is true. It's really sad that, we look at pictures from like the 50s and the 60s with the civil rights movements and, people with their signs, and then they have now 2014 with the Black Lives Matter, and it's a new movement that we're still dealing with. We're still dealing with.
Nothing's changed.
It's just a new generation of the same issue, and it's sad, and I don't know how it's going to change, but something needs to change. And with the article that I was mentioning kind of with Salon.com, it said that these young men and young women activists are unafraid to die for the simple right to live unharassed in their own communities, and they remain unmoved by tanks, tear gas, and nooses.
Yeah.
So.
For the week that they're angry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for the week that they're angry about it. Because
and you know what? Honestly and true, this is how it's going to end.
They have short memories.
This is what's going to change things. When we see a cop on death row for a wrong decision like that. That's when it's a consequence. 'Cause I don't think it's going to change. Like way people view, but when people understand that there is a true consequence for doing, because right now it's not really a consequence.
No,
like
right.
George Zimmerman, people don't understand. If there wasn't rallying behind that, there wouldn't have been a trial. And the thing about that that's scary is that George Zimmerman wasn't a cop. He wasn't a cop. He was a regular person. Yeah. So,
he was the security guard, basically.
Like a
self-proclaimed security.
Self-proclaimed security.
Yeah,
right.
It was neighborhood watch. That ain't even a security.
That's like security. Right. That's like your uncle down the street.
Sit and watch and call somebody, Right. And that's the thing about it. So.
That was crazy.
Yeah. It's still crazy.
Yeah. Till punishment for the cops, I don't think things going to change.
Cops
you have the
in
solution,
general, they scare me.
Yeah,
you have the solution.
Well,
Derrial has the solution.
So for more of that story, actually go to EURweb.com and continue the conversation. Tweet us, Facebook us, let us know what you guys are thinking about everything that's going on with Ferguson. But with that, maybe this next story and final story of the day may be some type of solution for all the problems we're having. A new study by the Public Religion Research Institute has revealed that most white people do not have black friends, but black people have a little bit more diverse friends than others. So
I think
You got
that's
some
not
black
true.
friends?
well, here's what
I
the
have a
study-
lot of black friends.
I got a lot of white friends, but here's what the study says: 91% of the average white American friends are white. 1% of their friends are black. The average African American has 83% black friends, 8% white friends, 2% Latino, 0 Asians. But what happens to the Asians? We got no Asian friends, and 3% mixed race. The article is also pushing for diversity because they feel like this is something that will help with problems like we're having for young black men being arrested and being shot for no reason. But I found these statistics interesting because I actually know a lot of white people who have several black
You
friends.
live in Los Angeles.
But I'm from
In
Ohio.
major metropolitan
I live in
areas.
Atlanta now. Like I
That's
live,
still
I
considered a
live in
major
Georgia.
metropolitan. Hey, I'm from Atlanta. It's more diverse now than when I was a kid.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So it's got. I'll just say that I've lived in places where I totally understand, and it's not necessarily their fault that they don't have any black friends. There aren't a whole lot of black people around, and there aren't a whole lot of Latino people around. And if you don't go out of your way
Sure.
to like make a friend, like you're not gonna know, and you don't have that same sympathy for what black people go through or what Latino people go through because you don't experience it and have no friend next to you to feel that empathy. So
But I
get
feel
it.
like I look at my little young cousins who are black kids, and they all, now they're all like skateboarders and hang out with their white friends and Asian friends. I feel like there's a big melting pot of the young kids who have a variety of different friends. So that's why
Certain
the
cities.
statistics threw me off. And these
Yeah,
kids aren't
big
in LA.
cities, though.
They're in Ohio. I'm from Ohio. You know what I mean? And so I found that I thought those numbers were really high for the non-black friends for white people. That's personally. But I mean, I don't know what they based the age or the range on, but
Well, that's like why I don't think that you can go by these studies to judge anything because you don't know how they're really getting these numbers.
true.
Yeah.
And what do you? I mean, in terms of friend,
What does that mean?
Yeah.
it could mean
Co-worker?
I know
That's what I mean.
somebody.
Right.
An
Because that's the thing. There's
acquaintance.
probably lots
Yeah.
of people like, yeah, I know lots of black people and I'm around them at work. But is that
As a
your
friend.
friend
Yeah.
circle? Like the people that you hang out with
And go
outside
have
of work,
drinks.
somebody you go to drinks with, somebody you go
Right.
out with and do things with. So maybe
world.
that. I mean, yes, I may know lots of black people because I'm around them, or I know lots of whatever. But maybe that's not like your friend circle.
That's true.
I don't know.
I mean,
I was on the same boat. I didn't.
that's Alexis from the booth. That's not a mysterious voice.
Sorry.
That just popped up.
I mean, not to be weird, but I mean, I've moved around 11 times throughout the valley in LA, and I technically didn't have black friends until I got to college.
I ain't got no black friends.
Yeah, all my
Really?
friends were all my friends were either white,
You have no black
Filipino.
friends?
Not till college.
Really?
I had because I went to an all-white school.
Yeah,
Literally,
same here.
I mean, I grew up in Jacksonville, and there is some racism there.
A little bit.
Oh my God.
The temperature's a little hot up there.
And I grew up on the part of town like there really wasn't that
Any
many
black
black people. I think that there's probably like 2 in my class,
Mm-hmm.
if that.
Yeah.
Graduated class of 565. There were 3 of us.
Really?
There were
I
no, but not in.
But
I
no one
wasn't
was
in
friends
Atlanta.
with me.
I was in
Everyone
New
made
York.
fun of me. No one was friends with me.
I get that. I mean, I went to a school, 400 people in my class, 20 of us were black, but a lot of people had like the other schools that they were friends with people from the other schools, other.
You knew other people from other schools. Like, yeah, I knew of
But
other
are they
black
your
people.
friends?
But like, I made like
Okay, I mean, that's a good
you
point.
know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good
Like,
point.
you hung out with them when you could, but I was in high school. My dad didn't let me go nowhere, so I mean, it's not like I could foster relationships with people.
right.
Well, there you go right
It was
there.
like the people I went to
One of
school
those.
with is who you hung out with.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
for me, it wasn't until I went out on my own in the world because no one wanted to be my friend, number one, and I didn't open up to anyone. So I mean, that's
Friends are tough.
You know what's interesting? I think.
You still are when you older too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's worse
because those
now.
are relationships. At that point.
Right, exactly.
You can't make friends.
I know that's
when
right.
you're dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was very interesting, I think, you kept bringing up the younger generation and all that stuff, and I went to I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina, it's black and white, and that's pretty much it, and everything. I went to a black middle school, knew everybody, from a neighborhood and all that stuff, and then I went to all white high school. And, definitely I experienced racism, but the racism came from the faculty.
Yeah.
The older people, like
Yeah.
the students, my students that were my age and everything was cool. Everybody was good. It
Right.
came from the older people that unfortunately were around when Martin Luther King was marching.
Right.
Also, it was that
The old
mentality.
mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
coming
Hopefully
through.
it'll die off.
Well, that's what we talked about last
Well,
time.
we talked about that. We said all those
Oprah had
people,
said it.
yeah,
They just
they
have to
just- they
die
have to
for
die.
it to change. So
Yeah.
all the little skaters in Ohio that
Yeah.
are cool with everybody,
The-
like until they're running things.
Where I live in Georgia, I live in Cumming,
Okay.
which was where Oprah did the show. Like, I know, it's so funny.
Listen, we're going back to
I
that.
didn't go
I
there
know.
because I know it's coming.
And I tried to not even think anything dirty when you said it.
I know.
couldn't help
It's so apropos, but what can you do?
We're so grown
But
up.
We're so 12 right now.
that was where Oprah had her show like 14 years, or no, it was more than that. As long as it was older than me, I'm 26. So it was illegal for a Black person to live in the county,
That's
Forsyth
crazy.
County.
Still
Yeah,
is.
Yeah.
Things like that are
Illegal.
still on the books.
illegal.
I mean, I just can't even wrap my head around that. You
Well,
know?
I mean, in Georgia, because I study real estate law as well, so I mean, women are still seen as property, no matter what you are,
Oh.
by law to the husband. So I mean,
It's like isms.
Isms.
Things that was
Well, we've had a theme today on today's show: isms and isms and isms and booties.
Let's booties
Wow.
and side chicks.
And side chicks and
Side
everything else.
and asms.
All right. Well,
We'll move on. From
that
the
concludes our
isms.
show for today. Kimber, where can your fans find you, and when is your show airing on E and all that fun stuff?
well, the original show already aired, but
good.
the
But your episode is already.
after my show, it got renewed for a second season.
I love it.
And the reunion is being filmed tomorrow.
Oh, and
Oh, you guys are
when can
doing a
people catch the
reunion.
reunion?
I don't know when it'll be on,
Okay.
but I'm sure soon because I think the season's already up.
Okay. And then as far as finding you on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Busty Kimber for Twitter and Kimber Barbie or Busty Kimber XXX for website. But
Love it.
I'm not doing adult anymore, so it won't be very much more.
All right.
Just
All
follow me
right.
on
Courtney,
TV.
where can your fans find you?
Anyway.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet.
Ashida,
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Ashida Onrae.
Ashton.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AshfordJT. ASHFORDJT.
And you can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, remember to vote for our buzzer meter question, which was it a mistake for St. Louis Rams to get rid of Michael Sams? We had a little bit of discussion about that today. We want to hear what you guys have to say, and we will read those results next week. Have a great weekend.
What?
From producers Maria Menounos, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Redefine.
Redefine.
We never get it.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.